I'm just gonna be a negative human being today. I'm so sorry. Like, I have nothing positive to say about myself, which is something I'm working on.
It is it's totally a dishonest narrative that men and women want the same things out of life. We don't. We absolutely do not want the same things out of life. In fact, we don't even measure success the same.
Did anybody else see Naomi Osaka's recent interview after she lost her match? I mean, all of her interviews are pretty consistent since, having her child. She is just so negative. She is so hard on herself, and it's very clearly postpartum depression.
Would you not agree that women can both have a career and have children? I mean, you are actively doing that right now.
And I want to be very clear because I'm actively doing it right now. I would be someone that you would call an exception because I get to work from home.
Like, when I win, I don't feel happy. I feel more like a relief. And then when I lose, I feel very sad.
Women who are choosing their careers over starting families are finding themselves leaning more onto medicines like Xanax, anxiety-inducing medicines, and depression because they suspended that time frame where women really should be looking to find a partner and to start a family because they were instead pursuing their careers.
But, no offense, but this is the reason why I will not have a child before I'm married.
You should have been married before you were a mother.
Rivah TV. What's up, guys? It's your girl Rivah, and I'm back again with another video. And today we are going to be talking about Naomi Osaka, okay? And if you guys are unaware of everything that's going on, recently she just had her third round loss at Wimbledon, and there is the interview that she did, post-match that's kind of circulating around the internet, in which she basically says something kind of alarming, in my personal opinion, that a lot of people have formulated their own opinions on.
I'm just gonna be a negative human being today. I'm so sorry. Like, I have nothing positive to say about myself, which is something I'm working on. I think, yeah. I mean, it was my daughter's birthday, so I was happy about that this week. But other than that, it's just today I'm just constantly replaying the match now.
So clearly, she's upset about the fact that she lost. She said that she's replaying the match in her head, trying to, I guess, figure out the pieces or figure out where she went wrong in the situation. And I completely can understand that, right? But in the same token, I thought it was very interesting because those who have followed Naomi Osaka's career, they know that she has always been very open about her mental health struggles, the fact that she has suffered with depression and stuff like that throughout all of the years that we've known her.
Like yesterday, I just woke up and I was really depressed, but I don't know why.
With your tournament over and, getting to have a break now, what's the first thing on your mind that you want to do?
Nothing.
Basically when she got her start, when she was literally going up against her idol, Serena Williams, and ended up actually beating her and was heartbroken about the fact that she actually did beat her because, she was at a rock and a hard place where she, is playing her idol. This is like a dream come true for her. But at the same time, she doesn't want to, lose her game or not try her hardest and win that match because at the same token, she put in a lot of effort to be where she was. And that, added to her decline mentally, just off of the backlash that she got from winning the defeat of Serena Williams and all of that in regards to that match.
You owe me an apology. I have never cheated in my life. I have a daughter and I stand what's right for her. I've never cheated. No more booing.
Little consolation to the first Japanese player to win a Grand Slam.
I know that everyone was cheering for her, and I'm sorry it had to end like this.
Now, ironically, when Naomi Osaka beat Serena, that was actually Serena's, first, getting in the motion back in after giving birth to her child, right? And as we know, Serena Williams is married. She, like I said, had a baby at the time and was just getting back into the swing of things, trying to get back into her flow.
I have a daughter and I stand what's right for her, and I've never cheated. And you owe me an apology.
And again, Naomi Osaka had always had, mental health issues. She's always been extremely, anxiety ridden and stressed out based off of the game itself and the pressure in which she said, disappointing other people if she does not meet the mark at her games.
I know all losses stink, but are they harder now than they used to be?
I mean, I think as time goes on, I feel like I should be doing better. Ugh, I hate disappointing people, so
Now, unfortunately, that struggle has weighed on her for years now at this point. Her game has, started to take a gradual decline, unfortunately. And in the midst of her already, declining, games, her strength, her career, to the success level of not being in the spaces, but winning the matches. In the midst of all of those things, she ended up getting to a relationship with a rapper named Cordae, in which the two of them actually ended up having a child.
Hi everyone, I'm Naomi Osaka.
Cordae?
And this is the GQ Couples Quiz. What's my favorite meal?
Sushi.
I'm like coming back from pregnancy, but also it wasn't like in 2022 I was like the best version of myself. So in some way, like I had to catch up to that, and then also I'm trying to pass it at the same time.
So again, it's not like this was, the peak of her career and then she just randomly has a child. It's not like she was on a losing spree and they had a child. It was kind of like in this weird place that, it was very unexpected from a lot of people who were fans of her, who were supporting her. They were not expecting, that change of events, such a drastic change of events to happen in the midst of everything that she was going through. But it seemed as though it was maybe a break that she needed. She had already taken a break before that, before even getting pregnant. And so when she got into this relationship with her boyfriend, got pregnant and all that, it seemed like maybe this was going to be, a little bit of a change of pace for her or whatever the situation was. And unfortunately, the two of them ended up actually breaking up. Here we can see that she had posted this message that says, "Hi everyone, just wanted to say that Cordae and I are no longer in a relationship. No bad blood at all. He's a great person and an awesome dad. Honestly, really glad our paths crossed because my daughter is my biggest blessing and I was able to grow a lot from our experiences together." So now at this point, Naomi Osaka is a career-driven single mom. She does have active help from, her child's father. He's, 100% active in that child's life, helping, supportive, and stuff like that. But what I wanted to do was I wanted to have this conversation surrounding women, the changes that women go through, mental health struggles, and also what is success to women, right? And the reason why, this sparked my interest so much is because in the interview that's circulating on social media, she made mention that she had nothing positive to say about herself at all. And the only thing that made her happy was the fact that it was her daughter's birthday and all the planning and the festivities surrounding her child.
I have nothing positive to say about myself. I mean, it was my daughter's birthday, so I was happy about that this week.
So we're dealing with this situation with Naomi Osaka, who, like I said, again, she began in the beginning and had this run and was already, dealing with the pressures of, trying to please the people around her, the pressures of being on top and being number one, the pressure of trying to stay in the space after beating Serena, and then the pressures, the anxiety of dealing with, the mental stress that tennis brings alone.
Even with Patrick, I was thinking this just now, but like he goes from working with like the greatest player ever to like what the is this, you know what I mean?
And then put on top of that the deterioration of her relationship, her family unit, and now being a single mother in this space. That's a lot. Okay. And I know a lot of people don't like the conversations of, getting married before you have children and stuff like that. But I really think it's essential that we have that conversation because there is a such thing of putting the cart before the horse.
You should have been married before you were a mother.
You're right. You're right.
That's the point. That's why that's old wisdom. Marry before you carry. Because when you get here, all the choices are bad. And y'all want good choices after bad decisions. It doesn't work. And it ain't the men's fault.
So when he told me to have this baby and get me pregnant, it ain't his fault.
Nope.
Because I decided to go through with it.
Yep.
You're right.
Having a child in general, okay, is such a massive biological, physical, emotional, and spiritual change that you are literally transforming yourself to give life to this human being that already alone, like, I've heard it millions of times. We can have millions of conversations that the woman that you were before you give birth is not the woman who you are on the other side of that. Okay. And when you are in a relationship with somebody, you would have wanted time, effort, energy put in to the length of a relationship, that you guys have gone through so many ebbs and flows, that this will just be another situation. And even in being married in that situation and going through the same ebbs and flows, there's a difference when you have a certain level of commitment with one another, knowing that, I've seen your ugly, I've seen your bad, I've seen your ups, I've seen your downs. I'm standing right here with you, 10 toes down. I'm going to be here for you, to the end of time. And we are committed to this life journey together.
About how difficult it can be on a marriage, getting used to having kids be a part of your life. We had a conversation over that, and I was like, I feel like I lost myself as a wife, but felt good as mom, and that makes for a hard dynamic between husband and wife. So the second question was, did we have to start dating again, quote unquote, once everything kind of calmed down? And I really think we do.
Is a difference when you go through such a drastic change, and maybe it was kind of a superficial level relationship. You guys really liked each other. It was always happy. You guys had a little bit of bad, but nothing too serious. There wasn't a lot of time spent in that relationship. And then you go through such this transformative process, okay, where you don't even know who you're going to be after you have that child. And a lot of people say, oh, it's the men. The men change after a woman have babies. But the woman changes so much. And it's never talked about that he is now dealing with a different version of you that he also did not sign up for. And in this particular situation, we can't necessarily hold his hand to the stake, because if you are somebody who was already dealing with certain mental health struggles, I can only fathom or imagine what might have happened to you biologically, emotionally, all of the things that I said, after now giving birth to this child.
And I realized, when I was younger, I had no fear. And I think when you're young, you fear nothing. And that's one of the really cool things about it. But I don't know. With age, fear kind of crept along and I guess paralyzed me in a way.
Sometimes in those situations, the only thing that the man can do is take a step back, a boyfriend especially. Because you guys were not at a certain space of commitment, and, it was easy to give him a child. It was easy to give him legacy without him, giving you anything that would have signified that the two of you are locked in for the long haul. Okay. Now, this is not saying anything about his fatherhood. It's not saying anything about his parenting, because she said it out of her own mouth that he is a great father. He's always been there. He's a good dad. He's, spoiling his child and all the above.
What kind of mother are you to Shai? You're more strict or more easygoing? Her dad spoils her a lot, so I feel like I have no choice but to be a little stricter. And but she's so cute. I don't feel like I do that well. But yeah, I guess wanting her to explore the world, but also knowing that I'm here to protect her.
And I also wanted to talk about the fact that, what is success to women?
It is it's totally a dishonest narrative that men and women want the same things out of life. We don't. We absolutely do not want the same things out of life. In fact, we don't even measure success the same.
Because if in the interview, the happiest moment that she can talk about, the only thing that can make her heart feel lighter is talking about her child.
I mean, it was my daughter's birthday, so I was happy about that this week.
Then sometimes, we need to evaluate what happiness actually looks like for you as a person, as a human being. And, if she literally said that no matter if she wins or loses in her games, she's never happy about it. She said she either has relief or a great sadness, but there's never something in her that feels like, yes, I feel so great that I accomplished this thing.
When I win, I don't feel happy. I feel more like a relief. And then when I lose, I feel very sad.
The only thing that she talks about in that light, that gives her any sort of love or adoration or happiness or accomplishment is the fact that she brought forth that child. They think that because she is the Naomi Osaka and because she's the tennis player, that's the only identity that she could possibly have and feel fulfilled or feel happy or feel whole. And clearly we can see that although she has been pushed to that path and been into that space of greatness, on her face on a daily basis, she's not happy.
I'm just going to be a negative human being today. I'm so sorry. I have nothing positive to say about myself.
There are women okay? Being pushed by society to be this boss chick. You got it, you got it out the mud. You this, you that. You can be better than the man. You're this and you're all these things. But is it something that is going against some women, not all, some women biologically? That your nervous system, your cortisol levels, like everything is so out of whack because you are not aligned in the things that you are naturally wanting to do. You are operating out of this energy of trying to perform for everybody else. But it is not true to what it is that you actually want to do. And I think that these conversations need to be had more on a consistent basis, because I think that while women are out here, chasing the bag and doing this and then feeling like their biological clock is ticking and just having a baby with a boyfriend or just having a baby because of a rite of passage and not really understanding how much it's going to actually change you, you don't know what's going to happen. Okay? I saw another woman talking about this on TikTok and I completely agreed with what she had to say.
Did anybody else see Naomi Osaka's recent interview after she lost her match? I mean, all of her interviews are pretty consistent since, having her child. She is just so negative. She is so hard on herself. And it's very clearly postpartum depression. But, no offense, but this is the reason why I will not have a child before I'm married. Everybody's body is different. You don't know how your body is going to respond to pregnancy, not just physically, but mentally, the toll that it takes on your body, right? And there's other athletes that have been able to bounce right back after pregnancy. I do believe that's, also because they probably had a very supportive spouse and they were very stable. And then everybody's body is just different, and clearly hers is not, bouncing back the way that she thought it would, and it's taking a toll on her mentally. It's very obvious. Nonetheless, I'm just not going to risk my physical, mental health, potentially my career, for a man that I'm not married to. I understand that marriage is it doesn't mean that it's gonna last, but there are benefits that come with marriage. And I feel like I'm not gonna marry just anybody. So I'm gonna really take my time when I, get with my husband. But nonetheless, I'm not risking, that for a boyfriend. Seeing her interviews is so sad. There's just sadness in her eyes. And I just don't think that she's ready to be back on the court.
You have no idea how it's going to affect you. You have no idea the person that you're going to become. You have no idea, the changes that women go through. I've seen so many, when I say crazy changes, you just become a whole different person. You shed that old person and you become somebody new. And sometimes the somebody new is a better version of that person. Sometimes the somebody new is a more timid version of that person. Sometimes you just can't find happiness because you're mourning the life that was and the person that you were with your own autonomy and not having to, have somebody else on the outside of you always needing you for something. There's so many different changes and ebbs and flows and rearranges. But being in a space that you were able to cater to those changes, not trying to get back out there in the rat race and prove that you got to be on top and, be in your masculine energy, trying to fight for things. Sometimes being in those spaces and being cool in the calm, taking your break, taking your space, focusing on what's important, sometimes trying to compare women to men, as women try to do it all the time. You have to understand that we are not made the same way, and that is completely okay. Men can, they come home for the break with the children, they back on it. Very different. We have very different makeups.
I wanted to have an honest mom conversation because I'm experiencing this weird thing where I came back to work after maternity leave. My daughter she just turned a year old, and I gave myself grace for the first couple months. I was like, okay, it might feel weird, it's a completely different lifestyle, I guess, going from staying at home to working, but it hasn't really gotten that much easier. And I don't know if it's the level of stress and pressure that I feel in my job now, but I always thought that because leading up to my pregnancy and having my daughter, I was very much career focused, I guess. I liked what I did, to an extent, but I liked what I did, and I've always worked. From as early as I can remember, the second that I could work, I worked. So I thought coming back after mat leave would be the same, where I'd have the same drive and the same fulfillment from my career. But now I don't have that. sense.
Women who are choosing their careers over starting families are finding themselves leaning more onto medicines like Xanax, anxiety-inducing medicines, and depression because they suspended that time frame where women really should be looking to find a partner and to start a family because they were instead pursuing their career.
I really feel for her. If you guys want me to be honest with you, I really do. I think that she's trying her best. She looks like somebody who is treading water right now, just trying to keep her head above water. And it's heartbreaking to see that situation. It really is. And the decisions that led up to the situation. But, hopefully she will take a step back. Hopefully people will intervene and hear what she said about not having anything positive to say about herself and tell her, like, no, you need some air. You need to breathe. You need to just, either take some space, take a couple years, do things that matter to you. And then if you feel within yourself that you want to come back to the game, then do that. But we do not want to see you, crash out, have these meltdowns, literally break yourself apart. And, then you can never come back to the space. You understand what I'm saying? I'd like to know what you guys think about this in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts, your opinions on this entire situation and conversation. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. And I will see you guys in the next one. Love you.
Rivah TV.